Hi guys, this is GSMDome and I recently went to China to see the Honor Magic 8 Pro. First of all, excuse the voice, I'm going through a bit of a cold and now it's time to unbox the handset and learn quite a few things about the latest Honor flagship. As you know, in Europe we get a special sticker that shows some certifications, the energy rating, battery cycles, drop resilience, ease of repair and a few more. This one has it on the outside. This is once again a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 device, the current flagship CPU from Qualcomm. And this time, oddly enough, Honor decided to decrease the screen diagonal and make it more handy. It also decreased the amount of curvature for the device, making it a bit flatter, especially for the screen. The back camera has evolved, particularly the 200 megapixel telephoto camera, which is now more adept at night shooting. The battery increases from last year, but still in Europe we're getting a smaller version compared to the one in China. Possibly the biggest innovation is the Magic OS, version 10 now, with quite a bit of inspiration from iOS, you know, liquid design and all that. Extras in the AI department and a few new things that I will mention in the next few minutes, including a flicker sensor which shows you if your lights have problems with flickering, which may be bad for your eyes. Let's see what's in the box. So Honor Magic 8 Pro should debut globally around the start of 2026. In the box we get a key used to access the slots. Of course, no micro SD. I have here a version which says not for sale, so basically a prototype. You should also get a bunch of manuals, which I don't have. This is the cable from USB-C to USB-C. Now to the phone itself, and let's first talk about the design. As you can see, there's quite the notch here at the top side. It's wide because it includes two sensors, the selfie camera and also another camera for your 3D face unlock, while the regular Magic 8 only features one hole. We have aerospace grade aluminum for the frame, and also we have glass at the back and glass at the front side. There are some versions of the phone which come with a special fiber combined with plastic, so glass fiber combined with plastic. Aesthetics wise, things don't change that much from the Magic 7 Pro, although I'll say it again, just a bit flatter for the frame and especially for the screen, which was much more curved on the previous handset. Aside from that, we have a ton of certification. For the screen, for example, we have a special nano crystal shield protection, and it's quite durable when it comes to scratches and other things like that. Plus 10 times stronger drop protection compared to standard glass, and SGS 5-star drop resistance certification. Of course, IP68, 69, 69K ratings. It resists water immersion, high pressure jets, also dust and quite a few more. You can submerge up to 1.5 meters to up to 30 minutes. The device is available in 4 colors: velvet black, snowy white, rising sun gold sand and sky blue. Now, here you can find an extra. This is the brand new AI button, as they call it. I would also call it a camera button, so you should be able to press it twice to access the camera. You should be able to press it once to do an AI thing, or maybe keep it pressed to send something to your dedicated AI memory space or do a circle to search. Those are some of the features you can obviously customize from the settings. Measures 8.3 millimeters in thickness and it's quite heavy at 219 grams. As I said before, it's odd to me that the screen has now decreased its size compared to the previous model before it. When I say it has decreased its size, I'm talking about a 6.71-inch panel, instead of a 6.8-inch panel as the predecessor had. This makes the phone 1.5mm shorter, 2.1mm narrower, and also 0.5mm skinnier, thinner. The panel you're seeing here is a LTPO OLED with 1 billion colors, 120 Hz refresh rate, Dolby Vision, HDR, and a resolution of 2808 over 1256. And once again, it also has a special type of setup here with up to 6000 nits of brightness, which is quite impressive, of course, in peak value. Now, if you want to go inside the phone, you're going to find a familiar CPU. I recently unboxed the OnePlus 15, and it's a brand new processor from there, Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. It's got the Adreno 840 GPU and it relies on 3nm technology. The version I have the phone in is the one with 12 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage, just so you know. Now, of course, you can add extra RAM from the settings, as you can see right here. So if you go to the About section, you got an extra 12 gigs from the RAM Turbo. You can see the processor, the resolution, and finally we have reached the battery. 6270 mAh, silicon carbon. Keep in mind, the Chinese version has a 7100 mAh. It has 100 watts wired charging, 80 watts wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, and 5 watts reverse wired. Still, this is an upgrade. The predecessor had a 5850 mAh unit, so yeah, there's that. An interesting aspect here is the fact that we have stereo speakers. This is the bottom one, and we have a sort of increased size for the acoustic chamber with a subwoofer, and at the top side we have these little cutouts for the outer speaker. I did a bunch of tests for the acoustics. This is actually louder than expected, much louder than any other earpiece on the market. We have our fingerprint scanner, which is an ultrasonic variety, large amplitude stereo speakers, as I said before. And when it comes to connectivity, of course, you're getting all the goodies associated to such a device. Going from NFC, 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6.0, you got an infrared emitter, of course, you got GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, you got wireless projection, link to Windows, and of course, Honor Connect here, with an extra when it comes to transferring stuff to your Mac or even iOS. Now it's time to address the cameras, so let's take it one at a time. So we start off with the front 50 megapixel camera plus its extra sensor, good for bokeh and also good for face unlock. So the front camera is 50 megapixel f2.0 aperture, PDAF included, and a depth TOF 3D sensor there. At the back side, the setup seems pretty typical. This is the dual LED flash. We also have a special flicker sensor, as I said before. The main camera is a 50 megapixel unit, now with f1.6 aperture, not variable anymore, multi-directional PDAF optical image stabilization. The star of the show is the telephoto camera with a brand new 200 megapixel sensor. It's not the one from last year, it's a new Samsung ISOCELL. 3.7x optical zoom, PDAF and OIS included, and better behavior at night. Then comes the ultra-wide camera, 50 megapixel f2.0 aperture, and its own autofocus, which means it also helps you with your macro. Now, the previous year, the last year model, the Magic 7 Pro, had variable aperture between f1.4 and f2.0. We don't have that anymore, but you can still achieve a pretty natural looking bokeh. The 200 megapixel telephoto camera has a 1/1.4 inch Samsung ISOCELL HP9 sensor. And we can see the levels of zoom here are 2x, which is crop, 3.7x, which is actual optical zoom, and 10x, which reminds me of Huawei, which is made with the magic of AI. Now, the options of the camera are pretty typical. You have your panorama, super macro, document scanner, slow motion, time-lapse, stage, multi-video, light painting, and high-res. In the Pro section, you have white balance, autofocus, exposure, shutter, ISO, and of course metering. You can also take raw shots. And in the video department, you have an extra standard stabilization or 3 types of stabilization. You also have the capture, log, and loot colorization, watermarks ratio, and so forth. In the video section again, 3 types of stabilization, ultra stabilization, standard stabilization, and stabilization off. Here you also can have your bokeh, blurred video. This is the photo department with some extras, which reminds me of, to be honest, iOS 26, filters, HDR, watermark, moving photos, and the works. Portrait is available once again with the advantage of the studio from France, Harcourt. These are the 3 typical options and some extras now. Bunch of negatives, positives, and things like that. Basically, a bunch of filters which will enhance your portrait taking. And finally, you got the night mode here, also with some extras. Keep in mind there should be some extra color profiles in the standard camera capture. So you got your vibrant, you got your natural, authentic, clear negative, rich negative, and so forth. But you can also create your own. You can also go to the warm sunset and more. Vibrant is the default, by the way. And if you go here, you got the color picker, and you take one of your photos, and you start from there as your typical approach to photo taking. That's pretty much it camera-wise, and I think it's time to actually address the software. There's a lot going on here. As you can see, the interface is quite inspired by the liquid approach of iOS 26. Even Honor is saying that, they don't deny it, so yeah. Now, we have here a suite, it's called Honor AI. You got the AI settings agent, which is here to help you with various, I would say, basic tasks. You got the AI photos agent, so you basically upload an image, and then you take it from there and start doing modifications to it. Let's take this one, for example, put it here, and you have remove passerby, enhance quality, outpainting, remove reflection, wrinkles, AI color, and more. You can also apply various AI styles, sketch, cartoon, animation, and more. And those are just some examples of the AI Photos agent. Then there's AI Memories. This is actually triggered with the side button here and reminds me of the Essential Space from Nothing and the Mind Space from OnePlus and the equivalent from Oppo. However, this one, if you're drawing here images or text, is not exactly as adept as the rivals in using them or expanding them with various commands. Of course, you also have a side window here. This is the side window for AI memories, and here another side window for multitasking. Got the Magic Portal, you got Honor AI. One example of using Honor Magic Portal is, for example, you're in an image, like this one here, you keep it pressed, and you take it to the side. That's Magic Portal. You can go straight to the side and put it in an app. Just post it straight to Facebook or Twitter or send it to your calendar or things like that. Text also applies. Of course, you also have the whole knuckle to search. So if I do this, I should be able to extract text from here, send it straight to the side, apply magic color to it, which is kind of cool, like this one here. It created a template in the camera, by the way, which is nice to have, and all sorts of other interactions. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Obviously, there's Gemini here, Gemini Live as well. And obviously, again, there's circle to search. So lots of AI. And I'm just scratching the surface, because if you go into the note-taking application, I have a recording here, it can be converted to text. And in the notes, you can do AI text refinement, format, proofread, adjust length, summary, minutes, text translation, and so much more. Okay, so we also have the Honor AI Space. Basically lets you automate tasks around the house, interact with other devices if you want to, from the same ecosystem. It would be ideal if you also logged in with your Honor AI. Some more applications here: video player, music player, recorder, which provides you with the whole summary thing and turns an audio into, text. Of course, you can also use this to do the translation when you're traveling in real time. You also have the interpreter here for, conference maybe. And at the end of the day, there are also some gaming features you can activate when you're, gaming, just from the side. Okay, so photo editing with AI Edit is available as well, with AI Eraser, Upscale, Cutout, Outpaint, and even this AI Color, with a bunch of filters you can apply and the magic color options from here. This is the profile I actually created earlier from that photo. We can obviously create collages and turn a static photo into a moving photo, but yeah, we're just scratching the surface with the unboxing. One of the coolest features here has to be related to your eye. The eye comfort section has been expanded. Now, aside from the custom features, now you can do contrast tests and color sensitivity tests. You can do the whole circadian night display feature. So basically this one protects your eyes from flickering, from the blue light, which is bad for your sleep, from the dimming, from everything here. And this is the new one. You just point this special flicker sensor at the back side to a light source and it will tell you what's wrong. So let me just do this for my lights in the studio and I'll be just right back. Okay, so my lights are not flickering. As you can see there, that's the reflector I'm using to film right now. Flicker detection is quite good, suitable for various activities. So yeah, it's green. The idea being that when the lights flicker, your eyes don't see it, but they feel it in prolonged usage. There may be a short circuit there may be a light bulb which is about to fade, so it's a useful feature for everyone. At the end of the day, I have to admit, I've been to China for a week now. I have taken hundreds of photos in Xi'an and Shenzhen. I've seen the terracotta soldiers, I've seen a ton of things, including a fantastic show at night. And I've been to the 116th floor of a building in Shenzhen. I witnessed a ballet play and used the special stage mode that the phone has, plus its zoom, because I was quite far away. The biggest upgrade for me is, once again, telephoto camera at night. That's how I feel it. Of course, smaller screen means easier handling, and of course, larger battery is always a good thing to have. We'll be back with a full review very soon. This has been the unboxing and first impressions of the Honor Magic 8 Pro. Excuse the voice, I have a cold.